You're listening to Bute FM, and I have with me today Mr. Peter Flowers, who's going to share his life and song. Peter,
Hello there.
so pleased that you've decided to come on at long last after all the badgering I've done with
Well, I've been hearing good things about your shows and Life and Music and all the rest of it, so I thought I'd give it a go.
you. Well, I'm delighted you have.
Uh-huh.
Now, I know you'll have many anecdotes to share with us and loads of good music, that's for certain.
There are one or two stories that we can share about the past.
Good. But I've got to ask you straight away, that
Uh-huh.
beautiful piece of music that introduced you,
From,
where's that from?
Well, obviously, people that like movies will know it's from Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, Forrest Gump, yeah.
There must be a strong affinity between yourself and Forrest Gump.
I see myself as a sort of intelligent Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Although there are people who would dispute that.
Put modestly, of course.
Yeah, no, it's actually one of the great film themes. Beautiful, beautiful song.
It is, and it's a wonderful film.
Yeah,
It's got everything in it.
really is. It really
It's
is.
a bit like your life in many regards.
I think my life is a bit like Forrest, except I haven't met Richard Nixon and Kennedy and all those sort of people. Well, we will talk about President Kennedy and heroes during the show.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, we will do that.
Now, Peter, I know that music means an awful lot to you. So,
Well, Wallace Stevens, I've said this many times in many places, music is feeling, not sound.
I have heard you say that. So, talking of music,
Uh-huh.
where did it all start for you? What's your earliest memory of a song?
When you were born as a baby boomer in the 1950s, life
You're
was...
never that old, surely.
Yeah, I'm that old.
Really?
And the life was hard in those days, and the only luxury I think people had in a house, if you remember back, houses were cold, there weren't central heating, and the only real luxury in a house was a radio, a little box radio in the corner. And from that box radio, I would listen to Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, all those sort of things. That's where my first, as a little kid, in my grandmother's house, that's where I first heard the music.
So, what's the first song then that you've got a recollection of and that you're going to share
well,
with us today?
It's hard to say a first song because there are so many songs from that period. I think what you're trying to ask me is a song that has real relevance and meaning to those days, takes you right back
That's
to
right.
being in that little house in Montague Street in the early
It's a
1950s.
wee nipper.
Yeah, a little poor wee boy just sitting listening, loving his music, loving his family. I think it would be one that would also remind me of the West End chip shop and the sun shining right along Montague Street, even though we listen to this in the winter as well. It was Harry Belafonte, Island in the Sun.
Can't wait. Harry Belafonte, Island in the Sun.
This is my island in the sun, where my people have toiled since time begun. I may sail on many a sea, her shores will always be home to me. Oh, island in the sun, built to me by my father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of your forest waters, your shining sun. As morning breaks the heaven on high, I lift my heavy load to the sky. Sun comes down with a burning glow, mingles my sweat with the earth below. Oh, island in the sun, built to me by my father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of your forest waters, your shining sun. I see woman on bended knee, cutting cane for her family. I see man at the waterside, casting nets at the surging tide. Oh, island in the sun, built to me by my father's hand. All my days I will sing in praise of your forest waters, your shining sun. I hope the day will never come that I can't awake to the sound of drum. Never let me miss carnival with calypso songs philosophical. Oh, island in the sun, built to me by my father's hand. All my days I will sing in praise of your forest waters, your shining sun.
Well, I have to say, Peter, the thought of you as a wee nipper listening to that in
Yeah,
your box
yeah.
radio.
Well,
So
there you
they
go.
didn't have videos in these days.
Well, there
Video
you go.
cameras.
Well, they had nothing like that in those days, but it was nice to hear it again. It was really good.
And do you know it's appropriate for a young boy born on an island?
Uh-huh.
Because in those days, I'm convinced we get more sunshine than we get today.
I haven't a foggy about whether we get more sunshine or we don't, but
No.
that song will certainly take me back to sunshine days of the early 1950s.
Long time ago. Anyway, so that's your first memory as a toddler, as a youngster.
Yeah, one of my first, yeah.
What about when you moved into primary school?
So many again. But this next one really means a lot to me because Elvis Presley also shaped the culture of the time as well. The rock and roll and before the Beatles, Elvis. And the song that I'm going to play is one that I really liked when I was round about in the secondary school, when I was about 10.
Yeah.
1960. And it was Wooden Heart.
Did you enjoy your time in primary school?
I was never particularly happy at school. I enjoyed being away from school, writing poetry, running through the hills, listening to music. I wasn't actually a very scholarly chap.
When you were running through the hills,
Yes,
Were
running
you-
up that hill.
were you running away from anyone?
Well, I probably was running away from quite a few people, but I'd like to hear Wooden Heart by Elvis Presley.
Well, Elvis Presley and Wooden Heart.
Okie dokie, okie dokie.
Can't you see I love you? Please don't break my heart in two. That's not hard to do, 'cause I don't have a wooden heart. And if you say goodbye, then I know that I would cry. Maybe I would die, 'cause I don't have a wooden heart. There's no strings upon this love of mine. It was always you from the start. Treat me nice, treat me good, treat me like you really should. 'Cause I'm not made of wood, and I don't have a wooden heart. Musiden, zum Städtelein-Haus, Städtelein-Haus, und du, mein Schatz, bleibst hier. Musiden, zum Städtelein-Haus, Städtelein-Haus, und du, mein Schatz, bleibst hier. There's no strings upon this love of mine. It was always always you from the start. Sei mir gut, sei mir gut, sei mir wie du wirklich sollst, wie du wirklich sollst, 'cause I don't have a wooden heart.
Very nice, Peter.
Yeah, it was good to hear that again. Really enjoyed that. Wooden Heart Elvis, 1960.
So what did that mean to you?
Well, just been 10, listened. It was a gentle song. I also actually remember going to see the movie, G.I. Blues, with Juliet Prowse.
What, in the Regal, the Palace,
That
the Ritz?
would be in the Palace when I was
Yeah.
about 10, yeah.
Oh, it's a great cinema, yes.
I liked the movies. The movies, apart from music, the movies were what sustained me in those days. And yeah, I do remember Elvis doing Wooden Heart.
So as a young 10-year-old, how was your life?
It's hard to describe how your life was. You were living it. But I had an enjoyable life. My life was fine. I had a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have much money. Didn't have a lot of material things. But we had the music.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the movies. And of course we had books.
Now, like myself, Peter, you had a similar upbringing because
Uh-huh.
you were raised by your granny, weren't you?
I was raised with my grandmother, yeah. Sweet Kate raised me, yeah.
Right.
In 52 Montague Street. People that know me will know that's where I come from.
52 Montague Street.
52
I do believe
Montague
there was a
Street.
soul club or something there once upon a time.
I think in your imagination there was a soul
there?
club. It was like the Temptations song, Just My Imagination.
I don't know, it seemed as if it was a discotheque rather
It was
than a
actually
club.
a little dance set record player with the Isley Brothers, Temptations, Four Tops, Velvets, all the great Motown music. So I would imagine you being slightly younger than me, in your mind it's some kind of great soul club.
Well, I could certainly remember walking along Montague Street and I would hear it, I think, from all the way... Where are we talking about now?
Well, there was...
Where Woolies used to be.
Well,
I could hear
Willis.
it.
You could, as usual, be exaggerating, but yeah, some great music came out of those
Because I used to
windows.
come down past the chapel,
Uh-huh.
down that way and along Montague Street.
Yeah, you did.
And by the time I got to Woolies, I knew what you were listening to.
Yeah, I would probably have been listening to the groups I just mentioned. All the Motown
I
stacks.
don't remember Wooden Heart though, but
You don't remember
no,
Wooden
I
Heart?
don't remember you playing that. You see, that was before my time.
Yeah, yeah.
You were only 10 when you were listening to
Well, you must remember 1960, the Motown records were
Oh,
just
yes.
starting to be released
Oh yes,
around about 1961.
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's where we are with that. That's where we are.
So did you enjoy any particular aspect of your life in primary school? Was it public school you went to?
I went to the public school, yes I did. I enjoyed English because I liked reading. I liked books. I enjoyed English. I enjoyed sport. But I just enjoyed 4 o'clock so I could get out, go and play my music.
4 o'clock.
4
Yes,
o'clock.
I do believe 4
I
o'clock
do believe
has
that-
always been uppermost.
I do believe
in your
that we
mind.
will discuss 4 o'clock later on
A little bit
in
later.
my life story.
As indeed with your love of English, because one aspect of your life I know that will be very interesting to a listener is your success in having some of your work published. But that's a little bit later on. So anyway, what's the next song you're going to share with us and why?
During the early 1960s, when I was a teenager, would you believe a teenager, yeah, I liked the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King. And I supported it, although I wasn't in America. I did support the civil rights movement. And this song, What the World Needs Now Is Love by Jackie DeShannon, became almost like the civil rights
National
movement.
anthem sort of thing.
Yes,
yeah?
it did. And so I would like to hear what the world needs now is love.
Well, I think it's probably needed now as well, isn't it?
Never more so.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last. of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know. That there's just too little love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, oh, but just for everyone.
Hard to say, Pierre, I'm a bit choked.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful song.
Oh, beautiful. But it's so sad in a way, because has the world listened?
The world is a big place, and it changes in stages, and there are great men and women in the world who change the world, but we still need music like that to move things on, which takes me to my next choice.
Which is? And why?
Well, this probably truly is the greatest civil rights song of them all, by truly one of the greatest songwriters, singers of them all, Sam Cooke, the late great Sam Cooke, who did A Change Is Gonna Come. It's just, do you remember A Change Is Gonna Come?
Oh, I do indeed.
Yeah, you do.
It's a wonderful song.
It's a song that says everything that we're trying to say, and I think I'd just like to hear in my life story.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing this in one moment. I just wish that change would hurry up and come.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna
gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, there've been times that I thought I could last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
Well, I have to say, Mr. Flowers, I knew from the minute you agreed to do this
Yeah.
that I would be treated to some wonderful music.
Yep.
And that is wonderful music.
Yeah, I think that describes the civil rights movement of the early 1960s and Dr. Martin Luther King, Robert F. Kennedy. Yeah, a change is going to come. Very meaningful song. Yeah.
I know, and I take your point, but I find it sad in the fact that it takes me back to such a difficult time in the human race's history.
Yeah.
But then I look at how the human race is doing today, and I don't honestly see a lot of change, Peter. That's the trouble.
Gandhi said, if the river is dirty, it doesn't make the ocean dirty.
It's true, and I know that there's
It is
so
true.
much good going on out there, but we hear so little about it, don't we?
Well, we have to make the change come.
So what are you doing then?
What am I doing? I'm
Yeah.
doing a radio show. Playing.
The world will be a better place
Well,
as
do
a
you
result
know?
of it.
Well, do you know? If one person, you listen to radio, and I did when I was young,
Mm-hmm.
under your bedclothes with your little radio, your tranny listening to Radio Luxembourg, you felt better when you did that, didn't you?
I take your point. Somebody somewhere
Is
might
list-
start thinking, maybe this world isn't what it should be, and might want to do something about it. So if you are out there and you're listening, get up off your backside and make this world a better place. Does that ring a bell?
Okie dokie.
Yeah. So anyway, after your intro, well, not after necessarily, but
No.
you know, I know from my own memory that John F. Kennedy, you followed his.
Yeah, there came a thought of Kennedy in Los Angeles was there, a memory of Dallas, his brother to compare, and think of Martin Luther King who made the world a stage. Forget not Lincoln who was first, his body was a page. Then go to A Gentle July in 1969 when Armstrong took those long dark steps in peace for all mankind.
And what song are you going to share with us now?
I'm going to share with you John Stewart's Armstrong.
A black boy in Chicago, playing in the street, not enough to wear, not near enough to eat. But don't you know he saw it on a July afternoon? He saw a man named Armstrong walk upon the moon. And a young girl in Calcutta, barely 8 years old, the flies that swarm the marketplace, the sea she don't get old. But don't you know she heard it on that July afternoon? She heard a man named Armstrong had walked upon the moon. She heard a man named Armstrong had walked upon the moon. water's a getting dirty, the wind is getting bad, the war and hate is killing off the only earth we have. But the world all stopped to watch it on that July afternoon, to watch a man named Armstrong walk upon the moon, to watch a man named Armstrong walk upon the moon. Oh, I wonder if a long time ago, somewhere in the universe, they watched a man named Adam walk upon the earth.
Do you know what I love most about that song, Peter? That wee last line there. A long time ago, they watched a man named Adam walk upon the earth.
Yeah.
Tell me, where were you and what were you up to when Armstrong was...
In 1969, I would be in my little house again, back to Montague Street. I'd be sitting with my grandparents and my two brothers, watching on the little television set, the grainy...
Black and white?
Of course. The grainy white pictures of Armstrong taking that major step for the world, yeah.
And what do you think of this conspiracy theorists that we didn't actually get to the moon?
I have no opinion on that. We went to the moon, man walked upon the moon.
Was it Capricorn 1 or something? They made a
I
movie,
enjoyed
didn't
that
they?
film, yes I did, but it's a conspiracy theory which I have
You don't
no belief in at all. We did go to the moon.
Okay. So what was happening in your life round about this time? Where were you? What were you doing?
In 1969 I was writing poetry and playing football and...
Loud guffaw.
Uh-huh.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's
Just slipped
okay.
out.
Was that the football you were laughing
Yeah,
at?
but it wasn't the poetry.
It wasn't the poetry. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, well I was trying to play football and I was writing poetry and like everyone else I was starting to take an interest in ladies.
Surely not.
Yeah, and that's where we're going to go now because I think we spent enough time looking at the problems of the world and now we should look at the problems of our...
Something a bit more light-hearted, eh?
Yeah, something like...
Mind you, love
yeah,
and romance is rarely light-hearted, is it?
well... Those,
Just before you reveal the song,
uh-huh.
can you share with us, I mean, what young lady first broke your heart?
I can't remember the first lady that broke my heart. There was different ladies.
Not many.
No, not that many. It's just that when you're young, these things happen. There was no particular lady broke my heart. I listened to the music in my little room and I had a great imagination. I was in love every week.
Walter.
They weren't in love with me, but I was in love every week.
Oh, that's okay.
Which should take us now to the Kettledrum Cafe.
Wonderful place.
Yes, I'd like to go back to the Kettledrum Cafe. I have mistakes with this before on one of your shows.
You did?
Yeah.
You were away over...
Yes, I was at Joe Fichet's.
You were at the XL.
I was at the XL. Now, when we talk about cafes of Rossi, that's when you really truly think of the great music, don't you?
Because it was mostly on the old jukebox, wasn't it?
Do you remember watching the record come on the old jukebox?
Wonderful.
That was a magic memory in anyone's life. Just, you'd push someone, you'd bang the jukebox so that your record come on and the other guy's record come off, didn't you?
Well, I would never do such a thing.
I would never have done such a thing,
Well,
but
certain people did. You observed this, did you?
some people did this to me.
Aye, really?
Yeah. Not very often, but...
No, I dare say they don't ever do it once.
But I'd like to go back to the Kettledrum, and I'd like to go back to Jackie DeShannon, who wrote this wonderful British hit for the Searchers, When You Walk in the Room.
I can feel a new expression on my face. I can feel a glowing sensation taking place. I can hear the guitars play lovely tunes every time that you walk in the room.
that song has to stir a memory of a certain young lady in particular. You can't get off the hook with saying there were so many, and you must have made a link to a certain young lady. Who was coming into that room for you?
No. To tell you, to be perfectly frank with you, no. When any beautiful lady walked in a room, that song can be for any beautiful lady.
So,
And there were
falling in love with them all then, were you?
no, but I think it's just a lovely song when you walk in the room.
Oh, dear.
I think it
Absolutely.
says what it does on the tin.
I'm just trying to get a scoop.
I realise
You know,
that
for the
yeah.
movement.
Yeah.
Peter Flower's first love
Yeah,
finally revealed.
well, it wasn't a first love. It was just a song in general.
Okay.
Now,
So, what was happening in your life
Well-
when you were
well, we're still in the,
in the kettle drum?
I take it we're still in the kettle drum. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We're in the kettle drum. We're watching beautiful girls come in. We've got 1 shilling, and we have only enough to play. Many records did you get for a shilling? 3.
3.
Okay. So you're watching the beautiful ladies.
That would cost you probably £3 now, wouldn't it?
I couldn't possibly work it out that way.
No.
All I can remember is having 1 shilling for the jukebox, and you'd like to stay all night. And I remember one time playing this particular record that not a lot of people will remember because it was only the one hit they ever had. This will take you right back to the early 60s, the kettle drum. The Royalettes, and It's Gonna Take a Miracle.
Loving you so, I was too blind to see you letting me go. Now that you've set me free, it's gonna take a miracle. Yes, it's gonna take a miracle to make me love someone new, 'cause I'm crazy for you. Oh, didn't you know it wouldn't be so easy letting you go? I could have told you that it's gonna take a miracle. Yes, it's gonna take a miracle to make me love someone new, 'cause I'm crazy for you. Oh, I know I can't get through to you. I'm gonna try to show you how much
beautiful sound of the Royalettes, and It's Gonna Take a Miracle. You enjoy that?
Oh, fantastic, yeah.
Now,
Absolutely.
I think that's your ticket to the imaginary soul club. Don't you think so?
I wouldn't disagree.
I think that's typical.
It was music like that in the likes of Sam Cooke
Yeah.
that I used to hear
Yeah,
at Woolies
yeah.
from 52 Montague Street.
I'm sure you used
You'd
to.
probably get
but
charged
I
for the
think
police to
I think you.
noise abatement or something.
I think. Sorry to break into that, but I think the songs that Woolies you bought was those Embassy records.
Oh, I
Remember
know,
those
Top 20
kind
things.
of copy things?
Yeah.
Do you remember those things?
Well,
Embassy.
I didn't have a record player to play them on, so
Well, there's a few people I know, like Mr. John McGuigan. I'm sure that he used to buy the Embassy records.
cheapskate, you see. Manchester City fan, what do you expect?
Well, there you go. As we move on my life story.
Your life story.
Yes. The next song.
By the way, you're listening to Mr. Peter Flowers.
You are.
Life and Song.
You are listening to Flores' Life
Flowers' Life
and Song. This song is one of my favourites of all time because it taught me to write poetry.
It taught you to
It,
go on, tell
it
us more.
inspired me to write poetry.
Yeah.
It was an old folk song from way back hundreds of years. But Simon and Garfunkel in the early 60s were one of my great inspirations. And I really think this is one of the great love songs, Scarborough Fair.
Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to make me a cambric shirt, a deep forest green, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, snow-crested brown, without no seam or needs, and there goes the child of romance. She'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to find me an acre of land, a sprinkling of leaves, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Between the salt water and salty strands and polishes of gun, she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to reap it in a sickle, billows blazing in scarlet battalion, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, order the soldiers to kill and gather it all, and to fight for the cause they've long ago forgotten. She'll be a true love of mine. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine.
What can you say about that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think anyone who's ever been in love at any time, anywhere, in the entire history of the unknown or the world or the universe, anything you want to say, that is one of the truly great love songs.
Well, they just were wonderful, full stop, weren't they, Simon and Garfunkel?
Yeah, they really were.
Great combination.
And so I think that's when I first started to think about kind of putting lyrics together.
Your thoughts on paper?
Yeah, I really did admire Simon and Garfunkel, and it was so good to hear that again.
Can you remember?
Sorry, on you
Can
go.
you remember the moment that you first picked up a pen to write a bit of poetry?
Oh yeah. I wrote some kind of nonsense about the castle and the lion and the moon at Port Bannatyne and different things. Actually, there was a teacher at school. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Mr. Cochrane. In fact, it was Mr. Do you remember Mr.
I remember
Cochrane?
him very well. Yes.
Mr. Cochrane took an interest in what I was writing, and actually encouraged me to write more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I wasn't very good at the subjects at school at the time, and Mr. Cochrane thought I had potential as a poet.
But was there a conscious thought when you did it for the very first time? I'm going to write a poem, or were you writing thoughts? Was this a intuitive
No.
type thing, or a conscious, deliberate effort to write some poetry?
Not at all. Not a conscious, deliberate. Just as you said, just
suddenly found
saw
yourself doing
something.
it.
Yeah, writing wee things like that. I was only about 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
I was writing about the lion, as I said, Rossie Castle, small things like that. So that was really when I first started writing poems. Yeah.
Because see, I have great memories of the serious poetry that you've written,
Yeah,
which I've
yeah,
always enjoyed,
yeah.
but also the humour. Things like, and I'm sure you'll be discussing this a little bit later perhaps, but
Uh-huh.
the Bute Fowl
Yeah.
magazine
Yeah.
that your
For-
spoof
yeah.
on indoor football.
Yeah, for
which
those-
everybody in the town
for
with any
those-
interest in football whatsoever, and even if they didn't,
Yeah.
they were desperate to get their
Yeah,
hands on a
for
copy
those
of your
for those who remember
publication.
the film, it was a stick and paste kind of publication.
It was an old school job.
Yeah, it was an old school job,
Yeah.
and I used to cut photographs and things out of different things and make stories about yourself, John McGuigan, Jimmy Falloon, people who would be playing indoor football at the time. People still have copies of the film.
Well, they were hilarious, Peter.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you thought so.
Oh, they were. Great fun.
Yeah,
So-
glad you thought so.
So where we are now in
We're
your
still
life?
we're still at poetry.
You've
We're
picked up the pen for the first
Yeah,
time
and
and
we're
you
still-
started writing.
Yeah, we're still at another. We're at the greatest living poet, according to Smokey Robson of the Miracles, who said in 1964 that the next artist was America's greatest living poet.
Or Smokey Robinson even.
Yes. What did I say?
Robson.
Well, whatever. Smokey, we all know who we're talking about.
We do.
Smokey said that this next artist was the greatest poet of that generation, and it is, of course, Bob Dylan. And I Want You.
The guilty undertaker sighs, the lonesome organ grinder cries, the silver saxophones say I should refuse you. The cracked bells and washed out horns blow into my face with scorn, but it's not that way, I wasn't born to lose you. I want you, I want you, I want you so bad. Honey, I want you. The drunken politician leaps upon the street where mothers weep, and the saviors who are fast asleep, they wait for you. And I wait for them to interrupt me drinking from my broken cup and ask me to open up the gate for you. I want you, I want you, yes, I want you so bad. Honey, I want you. Now my fathers, they've gone down, true love, they've been without it, but all their daughters put me down, 'cause I don't think about it. Well, I return to the Queen of Spades and talk with my chambermaid. She knows it, she's not afraid to look at her. She is good to me, and there's nothing she she doesn't see. She knows where I'd like to be, but it doesn't matter. I want you, yes, I want you so bad. Honey, I want you. Now your dancing child with his Chinese suit, he spoke to me, I took his flute. No, I wasn't very cute to him, was I? But I did it because he lied and because he took you for a ride. Because time is on his side and because I want you. I want you. Yes, I want you so bad. Honey, I want you.
Smokey wasn't wrong.
I don't think many would disagree. No.
Yeah, Bob Dylan. My favourite Bob Dylan of all time would probably be Like a Rolling Stone, but I Want You's really beautiful little love song as well.
There's an awful lot that I like about Bob Dylan, but Lady Lay, I think,
Wonderful.
the one
Yeah, I
that
can
moves
remember
me.
that. Across the
I'm
darkest.
sure I heard that at 52 morning.
Yeah, across the darkest hills of time, we shall remember 69. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So, Bob Dylan, and you then started writing a little bit of poetry.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
take us from there, Peter. What else was happening in your life?
Well, at that time I was in between jobs.
In between jobs?
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years
Yeah.
in between jobs?
Yeah, 20 years in between jobs.
Seriously, are you saying that it was a 20-year gap for you?
Oh, I can't recall. I was.
It's a long gap, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I did like Forrest. I did various different things. Actually, by the time we were playing "I Want You," I was actually working on the mailboat.
Working in a mailboat.
I was working on the good ship Endeavour.
So how did you get that job?
I got that job off Mr. Jim Hughes when he used to own the Endeavour, and he was looking for a deckhand, a sort of smart lad.
I'm glad you said sort of.
A sort of smart
Yeah.
lad. And he hired me, and there you go. I was there for 5 years. I was 5 years a deckhand on the mailboat. During that time, I came across the Comet, Radio Scotland.
Now, I remember you telling me a particular tale about your time on the U-boat. I was about to
The
say
U-boat. I wasn't
On
on
the
the
mailboat.
I wasn't on the mailboat, not a U-boat.
Because I worked in the Winter Gardens,
Aha.
and I remember that some of the artists,
You mean the dancers?
well, sometimes
You mean the dancers?
they would often want to get home, and
They-
obviously the ferries were finished,
they
so they
used to-
sometimes managed to get a lift in the mailboat. Is that not
They
so?
used. Well, it wasn't a car.
And certain
It
young,
wasn't a car. They
certain
didn't-
young bright deckhands were trying to impress, were they not?
No, not at all. The dancers used to come across on the mailboat. Do you know anything about high tide and low tide?
A little, but I'm sure nowhere near as much as a
Yeah.
smart deckhand.
Well, when it was low tide at Gourock, it really was low tide. And the ladies had to climb up what they used to call the swinging ladder. Because this was a ladder that had one big massive nail in it. When I say a nail, it was a, what would you call it? It held
bolt
it,
or something?
A bolt, yeah. And one of my duties was to help the dancers go up the swinging ladder. Hard job, someone had to do it.
But what about that time when it wasn't low tide and you were volunteering to carry the young ladies' cases? And was there not a wee bit of a swell or something?
Well, when you worked on, I don't know if you ever worked on a boat at night, but if you had on Wellingtons, you couldn't fall in the water because you got drowned. Simple as that. You got drowned. I was helping the ladies with the two cases, and I got caught between the ship and the pier.
Because the boat moved away from
The
pier
boat
just
moved
as you
away,
stepped
but
in.
I didn't drop the girls' cases.
No, I know you wouldn't.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't.
No.
And that was my
Did
story.
they appreciate that?
Yeah, they really did. They gave me half a crown.
A lot of money in those days.
A lot of money with half a crown back in those days, yeah.
You spent a few distant
Well, actually, with that money, I went and bought the next artist.
You did not.
I really did.
And who might that be?
that would be the Byrds, and it would be She Don't Care About Time.
Hallways and staircases every day to climb, to go up to my white walled room out on the end of time, where I can be with my love, for she is all that is mine, and she'll always be there. My love don't care about time. I laugh with her, cry with her, hold her close, she is mine. The way she tells me of her love, and never is she tried. She don't have to be assured of many good things to find, and she'll always be there. My love don't care about time. Her eyes are dark and deep with love. Her hair hangs long and fine. She walks with ease and all she sees is never wrong or right. And with her arms around me tight, I see her all in my mind. And she'll always be there. My love don't care about time. She'll always be there. My love don't care about time.
Takes you back, that one.
Well, I can't remember that.
No, it was a flip side. But the thing about the Byrds were they were one of my favourite bands, along with Dylan and, of course, the folk genre, the West Coast folk music of that era.
Mm-hmm.
And the Byrds have always been a particular favourite of mine. I was telling you the story about the mailboat.
You
We
were
were
indeed.
talking about the mailboat. Yeah. I was telling you about how we came across Radio Scotland. That was the Radio Scotland 242. That was the Comet. Now, I've told this story a lot of times because there's not many people who have actually been alongside a pirate radio ship of the 60s. It was night. It wasn't the night of the Great Storm. That's another story to do with sailing on the mailboat. But that particular night, the Comet had broken down and eventually had to be taken to Armagh. But we came alongside the Comet, and Colin Mackey, who was the captain of the ship at that time, rang the bell. And he didn't often ring the bell. He only rang the bell if there was an emergency or the ship was going down. He did not ring the bell. That's the way it was on ships in those days. That night he rang the bell because he knew that Peter Flowers would see the Comet right beside the Endeavour.
Right.
And he said, I stood there like Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I stood and there was the Comet right beside us, Radio Scotland. So that's the sort of things that happened on the mailboat. It wasn't days of great pay or things like that, or a great future. But I enjoyed my days on the mailboat.
Getting very antisocial working hours.
We used to start at midnight and work till about 6 in the morning. I mean, a lot of time we had bunks and things like that, but you were up. So lots of things happened through those years, different things, so many stories. But that one does stand out, seeing the Radio Scotland, because I loved the pirates. The sun was burning yellow when the Freedom ships was free. Music in the houses, music from the sea. The sun was burning yellow when the Freedom ships were free. Yeah. I was a great admirer of pirate radio.
Did you ever get seasick?
I never got seasick, strangely enough. I never did, not once, no. No, I was actually just made to be a deckhand.
Born to be an old sea dog.
Well, I think I was. Although in those days I was dressed like a poet, John Keats. My hair was long blonde, I had a blazer, I had a book of romantic poems in my pocket. So I wasn't your normal sort of deckhand.
Yeah, not your normal mailboat attire, right?
Not at all.
No.
So I became rather legendary on the Endeavour. Which brings me to a song that we used to listen to on the Endeavour. It was the brilliant American band. Do you remember the Walker Brothers? You do?
Behave yourself.
Do you remember the first ever hit?
No.
Their first ever chart entry was the wonderful, beautiful Love Her.
Love her and tell her each day that girl needs to know. Tell her so, tell her everything I couldn't say. Like she's warm and she's sweet and she's fine. Oh, love her like I should have done. Hold her and show her you care. When her world is blue, see her through. Anytime that she needs you, be there by her side. Be the guy that I couldn't be. Love her for me. Hold her and show her you care. When her world is blue, see her through. Anytime that she needs you, be there by her side. Be the guy that I couldn't be. And love her for me. Yeah, come on. Love her for me.
Yeah, Scott Walker. As I've said before, there's not much you can say about Scott Walker. Remarkable, remarkable singer. And love her. I'd like to take you now, if you don't mind,
Certainly
back
not.
to the jukeboxes of Rossi again.
Oh, are we still in the kettle drum? Or have we
No,
got-
we're going to Bruno's.
We're going to
We're
Bruno's.
going, do you remember Bruno's?
How could I forget?
Sitting looking across the pier, yeah?
Ah, wonderful.
Sitting at the dock of the bay, yeah? Well, I would like to hear, in fact, I'm sorry that I haven't played them up to now, just about one of my most favourite bands of all time. I'd like to hear the Four Tops and Something About You. you had a little bop to that.
I always enjoy a bop now and again.
Yeah. Did that take you back to Bruno's?
Oh, I did.
Bruno was a wonderful woman.
Ah, she was.
She
indeed.
was like a grandmother looking after the punters as we were young
Yeah,
punters.
we weren't just customers to.
No,
we
we'd sit
we
all
were
night.
part of a wee gang.
You would
weren't
sit all night, as teenagers do. You would sit with your cup of coffee and play your music and look at the girls. Well, you used to look at the girls come along the road outside Bruno's.
I think we had to make that shilling that we had go along.
You had a saying, something to do with a 4 o'clock rush or something. I'm sure you did.
No.
I'm sure that you
I
did.
do think you're engaging a little bit of artistic license here,
Yeah.
Mr. Flowers.
Yeah.
But it might be
You-
a
you
street
would-
you don't want to go down.
You were a teenager,
Yes, and you weren't.
so I mean, there was nothing wrong with
No,
trying to get a girlfriend. Nothing wrong with that, you know.
No, of course not.
So that's actually where we were in Bruno's, trying to get a girlfriend, cup of coffee, and playing the wonderful Motown songs.
Didn't ever get a girlfriend.
We never got a girlfriend,
No.
but we got a cup of coffee, and we did get some great music,
And
of which I would like to hear one of the greatest. Come See About Me.
I've been crying, 'cause I'm lonely. Smiles have all turned to tears, but tears won't wash away the fear that you never ever gonna take to ease the fire that within me burns. It keeps me crying, baby, for you. Keeps me sighing, baby, for you. So won't you hurry? Come on, boy, see about me. See about you, baby. I've given up my friends just for you. My friends are gone and you have to know peace shall I find until you come back and be mine. No matter what you do or say, I'm gonna love you anyway. Keep on crying, baby, for you. I'm gonna keep sighing, baby, for you. So come on, hurry, come on and see about me. See about you, baby. Sometimes up, sometimes down. My life's so uncertain with you not around. From my arms you may be out of reach, but my heart says you're here to keep. Keeps me crying, baby, for you. Keep on crying, baby, for you. So won't you hurry? Come on, boy, see about me. See about you, baby. You know I'm so lonely. I love you only. See about you, baby.
Sophisticated soul with depth. Yeah, that was the Supremes, of course. Had to play that. And the next artist, of course, in the same genre was one of my favourites of all time. You liked Marvin Gaye, didn't you?
I do, but before we go on to Marvin Gaye,
Aha.
I want to hear more. I want to know what happened that moved you on from your time serving in a good ship. What's
Well-
it called?
The Endeavour.
The Endeavour.
Well, that was political, really, because at that time a new tax came in called, I think it was the Select Employment Tax, and small employers actually couldn't afford to keep people on. It backfired in a way. I don't know the politics of it, but essentially what it meant was that Mr. Hughes had to let me go
Because
because
put people at work.
it didn't do what it was meant to do. And it put me out of work and gave me a little time to listen to music, which we're playing tonight, and to write a little bit more poetry, and then look ahead to where life would take me.
How did you feel at the time? Did it worry you, losing your job? Did you take it in your stride? Because you always gave the impression of being a fairly sort of happy-go-lucky individual that took everything in the stride.
Like
But
everybody,
deep down inside,
like,
were you worrying?
like everybody else, it was a small wage, but it helped my grandmother and things. So being short of money did worry me, but no, I just took each day as it came, and I've always lived that way, one day at a time. Which
There's a
takes
few there for a song.
yeah,
But
which
we ain't got that one, have we?
no, we've got one by Marvin Gaye, and it's called "Little Darling, I Need You."
It's so hard loving you, but I don't wanna let you go. A little darling, I need you. A little darling, I love you. Little darling, I want you. Little darling, got to have you. And if it means giving up my pride, I'm willing to give it up. Give it up. There's always one who loves more than the other, but I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm willing to pay the price. Have your love at any sacrifice. Darling, I need you. Little darling, I love you. Little darling, I want you. Oh, little darling, gotta have you. I know there's 2 or 3 in your life you like as well as me. So if I have to be your number 1 fool before you care about me, then I'm willing to pay the price. Be your number 1 fool. Make that sacrifice. Oh, baby. Only my pillow knows how many tears I've cried, baby. Only my heart knows the awful hurt I feel inside, baby. My life is so lonely, waiting for you to love me only. Now I'm willing to pay the price, be your number 1 fool at any sacrifice. Little darling, I need you. Little darling, I love you. Little darling, I want you. Little darling, got to have you. It's so hard loving you, baby. It's so hard loving.
Now that's a tragic story if ever there was one. Marvin Gaye,
Yeah, 1984 Marvin Gaye. Yeah,
your own father
yeah.
ending your life is particularly tragic.
There's lots of stories about how that came to be, but Marvin was not a happy man, but he was a giant in soul and a genius, but he was a very unhappy man. But when you listen to that music, it's a joy.
Absolutely.
It is a
wonderful,
joy.
wonderful music.
On the same kind of note, this next song was, I think, Kim Weston's only major hit in the Billboard chart. But she did sing, of course, with Marvin Gaye. She became famous as one of Marvin Gaye's partners in song. You do remember Takes Two, yeah.
Course.
But the next song is one that she had a hit on her own, and it was a wonderful soul song, Helpless.
Every day I walk some lonely street, searching for you till you come back to me. People around stop and stare, as if they know the hurt I bear. Suddenly I realize I'm crying, 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 'cause I'm in a helpless
Helpless Kim Weston. Beautiful song. Yeah, I really like that. Hearing that again, that was good. Where are we now in my life story?
Where are
I
you?
have left the mailboat.
You've left the mailbox.
I've left the mailboat, yeah.
You're starting out in a new venture in life.
Well, it wasn't
Where
a
did
new,
that take you?
Well, it wasn't a new venture. By this time, I actually was writing for United Artists, the film company and record label.
So how did that come about?
It came about because in the New Musical Express, remember, used to have one, used to always buy that,
Yeah.
yeah. There was an advert for new writers, songwriters and stuff, and I sent a Destruction of America to United Artists, which was then recorded by a band called heavy rock band called Raw Material, and United Artists also signed up quite a few of my songs at that time. They weren't songs; they were poems.
Mm-hmm.
So in this period, when I was with United Artists, I wasn't so much looking for jobs. I was focusing on writing poetry and stuff like that, and it really was exciting. You know,
I remember it well.
Yeah.
And we were all excited for you. We
Yeah.
thought, you know, that you had big things.
well, when it's a hit and a miss when unless you've ever been involved with a record company, it's hard to explain. I mean, you could write a silly wee song and it could be number one. This was serious stuff. It was as it was spoke about earlier on about the civil rights and all that sort of thing, and what was
and
happening.
the bomb. And
Yeah, what was happening in the world at that time. And the other ones I did, well, I read out Apollo 11 earlier, and then it was Nostradamus and Destruction of America.
so you must have been very excited.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, it was a great thing to see it, a contract with a major film company and to see it actually recorded. Yeah, when I think I was 21 at the time. So my focus had come off jobs so much as concentrating and writing new songs and things like that. It's not a period I talk about a lot because I mean people ask you about it. What's it like to, be signed by a major record company? And actually, they were a big film company. Actually, I worked for the same people as Jack Lemmon. I know that sounds
Well, there's
born under the star ludicrous.
Well,
but-
exactly. There's a lot of similarities.
yeah, well, I worked for the same company as Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon. Yeah, United Artists. There's a story about that as well. When they came to sign me on, they came to Montague Street, my small house, and they got me to sign for Destruction America. I could see they were uncomfortable in my small house. But if you think back on it, that's part of your life. So at the time, that's where I was. I was writing poetry and wasn't so much focusing on my work future as a career. I never ever considered careers. It's not. It's not a path I ever took. I lived a fairly kind of. I wouldn't say I was a hippie. I wasn't a hippie, but I just lived a life like a. There used to be a group of painters called the Pre-Raphaelites. I don't know if you know about them. At the time, they weren't particularly successful or great at the time, but they lived a kind of free life. I don't mean. I lived a fairly kind of. I wouldn't say I was a hippie. I wasn't a hippie, but I just lived a life like a. There used to be a group of painters called the Pre-Raphaelites. I don't know if you know about them. At the time, they weren't particularly successful or great at the time, but they lived a kind of free life. I don't mean free in the sense of misbehaving or anything like that, but they lived to their conscience, and I think that's the way I lived in that period after I left the mailboat through most of the 70s.
No, I remember the period well in your life, and as I say, we were all extremely hopeful that you were going to, our pal was going to be a big star.
Yeah.
But even though it didn't work out quite as
No.
well as you or we had hoped, it's still quite an achievement in terms of having all these things published. And I remember Destruction of America, and that was featured throughout the entire album cover. Was
Well,
it?
it was the main song. The album cover was based on
Yeah.
Destruction of America. Yeah, that's right.
Can you remember? Maybe a silly question, but can you remember the words to Destruction of America?
Yeah.
Share these for a moment with the viewer, because I think they're brilliant.
I can't. I won't do the whole thing, but it begins. The ships of space fly gently, in search of hidden stars, while motorways lie waiting with death for crashing cars. And leaders speak so loudly in saying what they'll do, while blood runs like water, a twisted point of view. It goes on like that. But at the end, it says, "Come together quickly. United States has won. Save the destruction of America from the unborn years to come." The strange thing is, when the Twin Towers happened later on, the Twin Towers was almost like,
Quite prophetic, really.
yeah, because I said give love to New York City, reject the thoughts of some.
Mm.
My poem, Destruction of America, wasn't about the destruction of America. It was about the prevention of the destruction of America. And when the Twin Towers happened, it was amazing. The closeness to my original poem. Ships of space fly gently in search for hidden stars.
Top stuff, Peter.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready for another song?
I think because of the way we've been talking about things that really matter, there was a song by Peggy Lee called "Is That All There Is?" And that's about life. It's not about career paths, it's not about jobs, it's not about what happens in your life. It's about how important life is. And I think it's one of those ironic songs. You just have to listen to it. And it's Peggy Lee.
Well, we'll do just that.
I remember when I was a little girl, our house caught on fire. I'll never forget the look on my father's face as he gathered me up in his arms and raced to the burning building out on the pavement. And I stood there, shivering in my pajamas, and watched the whole world go up in flames. And when it was all over, I said to myself, "Is that all there is to a fire? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep dancing. Let's break out the booze and have a ball. If that's all there is." And when I was 12 years old, my daddy took me to the circus, the greatest show on earth. There were clowns and elephants and dancing bears, and a beautiful lady in pink tights flew high above our heads. And as I sat there watching, I had the feeling that something was missing. I don't know what, but when it was all over, I said to myself, "Is that all there is to the circus? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep dancing. Let's break out the booze and have a ball. If that's all there is." And then I fell in love with the most wonderful boy in the world. We'd take long walks down by the river, or just sit for hours gazing into each other's eyes. We were so very much in love. And then one day, he went away, and I thought I'd die, but I didn't. And when I didn't, I said to myself, "Is that all there is to love? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep..." I know what you must be saying to yourselves. If that's the way she feels about it, why doesn't she just end it all? Oh no, not me. I'm not ready for that final disappointment. 'Cause I know, just as well as I'm standing here talking to you, that when that final moment comes and I'm breathing my last breath, I'll be saying to myself, "Is that all there is? Is that all there is? out the booze and have a ball. If that's all there is.
Wow, how many people have uttered those particular words in life?
Yeah, Peggy, it's very, very, very profound song. Is that all there is by Peggy Lee? I think it was quite apt, considering what we're talking about. Returning to my short-lived career as a writer with United Artists, the next artist died with his songs totally unknown. He'd done 3 albums, Pink Moon, particular Pink Moon, which I did like, but he died totally unknown. And today, Nick Drake, you hear him, you might not know his name,
I know
but
it,
Nick
alright.
Drake is on radio adverts, on film themes. His stuff. I'm not comparing myself to Nick Drake in any way, but what I'm saying is, you can write something at the time, and it doesn't resonate, and then later on, it comes to the fore. But this artist in particular is one that deserves to be known, and this is a beautiful, beautiful song called "From the Morning."
Day one storm, and it was beautiful. A day one storm from the ground. Then the night she fell, and the air was beautiful. The night she fell all around. So look, see the days, the endless colored ways. Go play the game that you learned from the morning. And now we rise, we are everywhere. And now we rise from the ground. See, she flies, she is everywhere. See, she flies all around. So look, see the sights, the endless summer nights. Go play the game that you learned from the morning.
Beautiful, beautiful sound, Nick Drake.
Yeah, very talented guy. And it is quite tragic that he didn't get any recognition
In his
before
time,
leaving this
yeah.
world. But then he did leave very, very early, didn't he?
He did leave very early, yeah.
All
But
too early.
he was in among the group that played with likes John Martin. Do you remember John Martin?
Yes,
Yeah.
played him the other evening.
I have a story with John Martin. Years ago, I was trying to find a song of his called Anna, which I'd heard on an Australian movie. And I couldn't get it anywhere, and I wrote a letter to one of the newspapers asking where I would get it. This would be about 1975 or so. And John Martin sent me a letter from Roberton, in Ayrshire where he lived, telling me that you could only get it on an album called John Martin Live at Leeds. But I thought that was amazing that an artist of his stature would sit and write. And so artists, there are a lot of people don't know John Martin as well. But you know, there's a lot of
Well,
people
it's
like
not what you would call mainstream, is he?
So from the morning, we've went now to a place called the Kyles Hydro. Do you remember the Kyles Hydro?
Well, do you know I remember going to the Kyles Hydro when it had been deserted, and I think you took me and Magoo and a few others there,
Did I?
and we did perhaps break the law on that occasion when we
Was that
climbed
when?
through
Oh
an
yeah,
open window without breaking it.
No, the building was still
the building was still there, and I had never known that it existed.
I had a small job there after the time with United Artists. It became an old people's home for people that worked on the railways, but it didn't last long, a couple of years or so, and I worked in there as a kind of handyman.
It looked a magnificent building.
It had been. It was the equal to the Glenburn, probably more famous because that's where the midget subs during the war were based.
Yeah, that was a control centre, wasn't it?
Well, that's where they trained.
Yes.
They trained at
The port.
the Port Bay. But the thing was that was a famous building at one time. When I was there, it was almost a ruin. Or they rebuilt it just for that particular time. It's now sadly, it's now no longer there. But it was there that I acquired gardening skills.
Right.
That's where I acquired small gardening skills at the Kyles Hydro. And from there, I worked in the Victoria Hospital. A lot of people remember me from the Victoria Hospital days. I was there for quite a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember some of the less palatable jobs you had to do there.
I had lots of jobs to do. I was a handyman. There's lots of jobs in a hospital. It's hard to describe, but I was a porter, and I did porter's duties. There were a lot of jobs that weren't very nice, but it was a good place to work, Victoria Hospital.
Because they carried out operations and all
Mr. Kapoor, yeah. I would take in Mr. Kapoor's utensils, for operations and stuff like that. I would help clean the wards, different things. I just did everything. I was a big fit boy then. I was 26 and I was built. I looked like Kirk Douglas. Actually, I look like Kirk Douglas now. But I just did everything and anything I was asked. I will say though, those days at Victoria Hospital were the happiest working days I ever had, apart from my current job with the Phoenix Centre, because everyone knows that I have a great love of the job I have at the Phoenix Centre.
What did you enjoy most about working at the Vic?
Working in the Vic, it's hard to explain unless you did it. You would talk to patients and things, and of course, being in Rossi, you knew the patients. Everyone knew each other. You knew their families. I mean, there were so many different things. You'd have to work in a hospital.
And all working for such a good cause, trying to make people better, I suppose, must have
Well,
been worthwhile.
I would say in that place, you talk about being a team. Well, you had to be a team there. I mean, Sister Leslie would more or less been my boss. She wasn't my direct boss, but she more or less ran. Did you ever see Carry On Matron and stuff like that?
Yes.
I'm not saying Sister Leslie was like that, but it was like the old days of your matron.
Well, many people know Anne Leslie very well.
Yeah, she was a wonderful woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know she was a wonderful woman. Yeah.
All right. So, what song are you going to share with us from that particular period in your life?
I think we would go to the Kinks' Days.
Thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day, believe me. I bless the light, I bless the light that lights on you, believe me. And though you're gone, you're with me every single day, believe me. Days I remember all my life, days when you can't see wrong from right. You took my life, but then
alright. Now I'm not frightened of this world, believe me. I wish today would be tomorrow. The night is dark, it just brings sorrow, let it wait. Thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day, believe me. Days I remember all my life, days when you can't see wrong from right. You took my life, but then I knew that very soon you'd leave me. But it's alright, now I'm not frightened of this world, believe me. Thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day, believe me. I bless the light, I bless the light that shines on you, believe me. And though you're gone, you're with me every single day, believe me.
The Stinks? I mean the Kinks, yeah.
Stinks.
Yeah, the Kinks were good. I like the Kinks, yeah. I think Days would sum up kind of most people's lives, don't you think?
They all, yeah, they all fell out though, did they not?
I'm not entirely.
Two brothers especially. Anyway.
I'm not entirely sure about
No.
that, but
I
the
thought Ray Davis sort of,
I think most bands in the
he
60s,
was considered to be the real talent behind
yeah, the real
those,
talent
isn't it?
behind the
It
Kinks.
very often goes that way. I don't know if it's jealousy or whatever, but it's a shame.
All we know is they left wonderful music. This next band left wonderful music as well. I wonder if you remember America.
Behave yourself.
Do you know the story behind America?
Well, it depends which story you're referring to.
It's connected to my life
Your life?
in Ipswich.
No,
Yeah.
but I would like to hear it.
Yeah. America were called America because they were the sons of servicemen living in Ipswich.
I know you've got connections in
Yeah,
Ipswich,
my
haven't you?
father came from Ipswich.
Ah.
My dad. So America, I love their music in any case, but they called themselves America because they were three young boys growing up in Suffolk, in Ipswich, sons of American service people.
Right.
Yeah, and it's ironic that my dad came from there, from Ipswich, and my family, my grandmother's side, way back, come from Ipswich. And one of my favourite bands of all time was three boys from Ipswich called America, and this is one of my favourites called Tin Man.
It's fate, isn't it?
It is.
Sometimes late when things are real and people share the gift of gab between themselves. Some are quick to take the bait and catch the perfect prize that waits among the shells. But Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have. And cause never was the reason for the evening or the Tropic of Sir Galahad. So please believe in me when I say I'm spinning round, 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 round. Smoke, glass, stain, bright cup, image going down, 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 down. Soaps a green light bulb. Oh, Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man didn't already have. And cause never was the reason for the evening or the Tropic of Sir Galahad. So please believe in me when I say I'm spinning round, 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 round. Smoke glass stained bright car, image going down, 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 down. So sun green like no, I never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have. And cause never was the reason for the evening or the Tropic of Sir Galahad. So please believe in me. Ooh.
Every time I hear that, I do think of Eric James Flowers, my dad, in Ipswich, and I truly did love the music of America. In the summer of 1976, do you remember the summer of 1976?
Who could forget it?
The long, hot summer
Yes.
of 1976. So many memories playing football, running about with my cousin Alan Drews. Remember Alan?
Alan, remember well.
Alan and Ernie and Les. Do
Mhm.
you remember that? Yeah. So it's when I listen to Tin Man, I think of members of my family. I think of the fact they boys came from Ipswich, and I just like the music of America.
Oh, loved the music of America.
Now we're talking about lives and things. My life, yeah.
Your life indeed.
I did have a small business at one time, and I mean a small business, as a poet.
And what was that?
It was called Enterprise Allowance. Do you remember you were allowed? You were allowed. I always felt it meant like you were allowed some money. The government allowed you to be enterprising. So I was enterprising. I had this poetry company where I wrote poems in Finnish.
In Finnish?
Yeah, Coltanian. That means
Right.
elusive summer. And Minu Sinne Rakastan, Minu Sinne Rakastan means I love you in Finnish. I don't love you, but it means I love
you got me going there for a
yeah,
minute.
but it means I love you in Finnish. So what I used to do was I used to write poems in Finnish so that the problem we wouldn't sell to prove a point at that political point at that time. Strange, eh?
Well, nonetheless.
But that's Floorsy.
Quite an experience.
That's Floorsy, yeah.
What did you call your business?
Flowers and Flowers Poets.
Flowers and Flowers Poets.
Yeah, Ian was a sleeping partner. He was sleeping.
Ian Buchanan.
Ian Buchanan, my beloved brother. Yeah.
Oh. So, do you have any particular song that reminds you of your
Enterprising
enterprise allowance venture?
as a businessman?
Yes.
No, but I do have a song that shows that you can get every kind of appeal.
Said the fight to make ends meet keeps a man up on his feet, holding down his job, trying to show he can't be bought. Who takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah. Kind of people to make the world go round. Someone's looking for a lead in his duty to a king or to a creed, protecting what he feels is right, fights against wrong with his life. There's no profit in deceit. Honest men know that revenge does not taste sweet. Whether yellow, black, or white, each and every man's the same inside. Oh, it takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah. It takes every kind of people to make the world go round. You know that love's the only goal that could bring a peace to any soul. Hey, and every man's the same. He wants the sunshine in his name. Oh, it takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah. It takes every kind of people to make the world go round. Every kind of people to make what life's about.
Do you know, I can remember sitting in your flat in London listening to Robert Palmer. Not Every Kind of People, but a Robert Palmer album you used to have. It was an album with this lady, this beautiful lady standing. She had long legs, and Palmer was standing with this beautiful kind of blazer on behind her.
Oh, that'd be my girlfriend at the time.
I don't think that was your girlfriend at the time. But so that took me back to you and Mr. Magoo in London.
Oh, happy days.
So there you go. Yeah. So I enjoyed listening to Palmer. Another sad story how Robert Palmer died as well.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
it's very sudden death, but wonderful, wonderful artist.
Yeah.
And that is truly one of the great songs.
I agree. Great song.
In fact, I think
great pop song.
I think you might find that when you do these live stories shows on Butte FM, that you may have one or two other people playing Palmer.
Oh, you know, we've talked today quite a bit about the state of the world and everything else,
Yeah.
and how some people have written very profound songs about how
Yeah.
human beings should
Yes.
conduct themselves.
Yes.
Well, that pretty much epitomises it all.
It
doesn't
does, it really does. I think what the world needs is a lot of love by Nicolette Larson.
Oh.
Do you remember that one?
Oh, very well.
Okie dokie.
It's gonna take a lot of love to change the way things are. It's gonna take a lot of love. We won't
Yes, indeed.
What a song.
It is truly a remarkable song. The beautiful Nicolette Larson.
Tragic Nicolette Larson.
Yeah. But she left a song, A Lot of Love,
Oh, aye.
which I think would bring us to a place that has a lot of love.
And what might that be?
That would be the Phoenix Centre on the island of Bute.
Shock horror, is that not where you work?
That's where, well, I work there, but it's not so much that I work there. It's a place to be. It's a place to be, as Nick Drake used to say. It's a wonderful place. When I go there, I don't actually see it as a job. I see it as going to see my friends, and they are my friends.
Well, Peter, you're very privileged to be able to
And
say
I
that
realise
about
it.
your
I
job.
realise that.
But for people who don't know, what exactly do you do and what is the Phoenix Centre about?
The Phoenix Centre is a centre for people with learning disability, and I am a development worker. I develop programs and projects for the people at the Phoenix to do things. You know that we made the film The Beautiful Butte,
Yes.
which won a major award in Edinburgh in
I was at the
2010.
presentation.
We've also done, I think, at the moment, 9 shows for radio for Butte FM.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've done 9 Butte FM shows, and we do a Christmas show just about every year, most years.
Look forward to it.
So we work in art, we work in digital photography, we make animated movies, we do amazing things, and it just as
For amazing people, or with amazing people.
with amazing people. It's hard to describe what I feel for the crew Phoenix. They're just wonderful people, and they are why I think I am where I am. I think I was placed to be. I was born to be a member of Crew Phoenix. That's for sure.
Well, that's fantastic. Listen, Peter, I'm conscious that unfortunately time is running out, but I'm so grateful to you for sharing your life and song with us. Now, what song are you going to leave?
I think, I think there's a band we haven't played.
I have a
I have a feeling
very
that,
strange feeling in my water that
I've
I
a-
know what it might be.
I have a feeling that Charlie Maguire might be shouting, "Blue Nile, Blue Nile."
He's a big Blue Nile fan. I
No,
believe,
he's
is that
not.
Charles?
He's not, but I
Is he
am.
not?
I
Yeah.
think I would like to finish my life story in music or song with my favourite band of all time, the Blue Nile, and the wonderful love song, Headlights on the Parade.
Well, thanks again, Peter.